What if the biggest surprise in Dutton Ranch Season 2 is not another gunfight, but a single phone call? The new trailer is packed with quick moments that many fans almost missed, yet together they point towards something much bigger than anyone expected. Beth Dutton looks closer than ever to asking Case for help. Carter's fate is still unknown. Mariano's cartel is growing stronger. And over in Marshals, Case is fighting a war that may be connected to the very same enemies threatening the Duttons in Texas. Is this finally the crossover fans have been waiting years to see? Or is the trailer carefully leading us in the wrong direction? Let's break down every clue, because if these hints are real, the Yellowstone universe is about to become much bigger than ever before. The first thing that stands out in the new Dutton Ranch Season 2 trailer is not the action. It is the feeling that something has changed. Season 1 ended with Beth and Rip facing the worst nightmare they could imagine. Carter was taken, Mariano tightened his grip over South Texas, and the Dutton family suddenly found themselves fighting an enemy that never rushes into battle. Unlike previous villains, Mariano does not let anger control his decisions. Every move feels planned long before anyone else realizes the game has started. That alone changes everything heading into Season 2. The trailer wastes no time reminding viewers that Carter remains the center of this story. Every conversation seems connected to him, even when nobody says his name directly. Beth appears colder than before, Rip looks more determined than ever, and the silence between them says almost as much as the dialogue itself. They know time is running out. Every day Carter stays missing gives Mariano more power. The longer they wait, the harder it becomes to bring him home safely. But then, the trailer quietly introduces a possibility that changes the entire conversation. Throughout Season 1, Beth refused to ask anyone outside Texas for help. She believed she could protect her new family on her own. That decision made sense because Beth has always believed depending on others is a weakness. Asking for help has never come naturally to her. It means admitting that even she cannot control everything. However, several moments in the trailer suggest that mindset may finally be breaking. One quick shot shows Beth staring at a phone with an expression fans rarely see. Another scene shows Rip looking toward her without saying a word, almost as if he already knows what decision she is struggling to make. The trailer never confirms what happens next, but it raises one question louder than any other. Is Beth finally going to call Case? That possibility alone has changed the way fans are looking at every second of the trailer. For years, the Yellowstone universe has treated Beth and Case as siblings who share an unbreakable bond, even after taking very different paths. Beth solves problems her own way. Case approaches danger from an entirely different angle, but whenever the family faces its darkest moments, they eventually find their way back to each other. Now Season 2 may finally be setting up exactly that reunion. The timing could not be more important. While Beth is fighting a cartel in Texas, Case is dealing with dangerous criminal operations in Marshals. At first, these stories seemed completely separate. Different locations, different enemies, different missions. But the newest trailer keeps dropping hints that these worlds may actually be connected. One clue is impossible to ignore. Both stories now involve organized criminal networks operating across state lines. Both involve missing children, both involve powerful people hiding behind legitimate businesses while secretly moving illegal products across the country. That similarity has caused fans to wonder whether the writers have been building toward one larger story from the very beginning. If that theory is true, Beth's phone call becomes much more than a family reunion. It becomes the moment two television series finally collide. The trailer also seems careful about what it refuses to show. Carter never appears. Mariano remains mostly hidden. Several important conversations cut away before anyone finishes speaking. Instead of giving answers, the footage creates even bigger questions. Why hide Carter unless his situation has changed dramatically? Why avoid showing Mariano unless his next move is even more dangerous than before? And why focus so heavily on Beth's emotional struggle unless it leads to a decision that changes everything? These missing pieces may actually be the trailer's biggest clues. Television trailers rarely reveal their biggest twists directly. Instead, they build tension by showing everything around the surprise, while carefully protecting the moment itself. That strategy fits perfectly here. If Beth really contacts Case, the studio would likely avoid showing that scene while still planting enough hints for viewers to notice. There is another detail making fans pay close attention. Season 1 taught everyone that Mariano never attacks without planning several moves ahead. If he kidnapped Carter simply to demand money, the story would already be over. But nothing about Mariano suggests he wants a quick victory. He wants lasting control. That means Carter is probably more valuable alive than dead, making the rescue even more complicated than anyone first imagined. For Beth and Rip, this creates an impossible situation. Every rescue attempt could place Carter in greater danger. Every delay gives Mariano more opportunities to strengthen his position. Neither option feels safe. Neither option guarantees success. That is exactly why Case's arrival suddenly makes so much sense. Unlike Beth and Rip, Case has experience dealing with organized criminal operations. He understands how these groups think. He knows patience often wins battles that violence cannot. If Beth finally asks for his help, Season 2 instantly becomes much bigger than one family's rescue mission. It becomes the beginning of a united fight against an enemy stretching far beyond Texas. And judging by everything hidden inside this first trailer, that may only be the beginning of an even larger story. If the first half of the trailer focuses on Beth's impossible decision, the second half shifts attention toward an even bigger mystery. It quietly suggests that Mariano is not acting alone. The clues are easy to miss because they appear between action scenes instead of inside them. But once you connect those pieces, a much larger picture begins to appear. Throughout Season 1, Mariano always seemed one step ahead of everyone else. He knew where the Duttons were going before they arrived. He knew when to strike without exposing himself. Most importantly, he never behaved like someone running a small local operation. Everything about him suggested resources, connections, and information coming from somewhere much larger. Now the Season 2 trailer seems to reinforce that idea. Instead of showing Mariano hiding, the trailer presents him as someone completely confident. That confidence only makes sense if he believes powerful people are protecting him. Criminal organizations like his rarely survive by working alone. They survive because they build networks. Every ranch, every shipment, and every trusted partner becomes another piece of a much bigger system. That is where the connection to Marshals suddenly becomes impossible to ignore. Over in Case's world, another investigation has been growing quietly in the background. It also involves organized crime. It also involves powerful people hiding behind respectable businesses. And just like Mariano, the people Case is chasing seem to operate across multiple states instead of staying in one place. The trailer never directly says these stories are connected. Instead, it lets viewers notice the similarities for themselves. That approach is important because it creates suspense without giving away the surprise. Rather than announcing a crossover, the writers allow every new clue to slowly push fans toward the same conclusion. By the time the official reveal arrives, the audience already feels like they discovered it on their own. Another interesting detail is how little the trailer reveals about Carter. His absence feels intentional. Normally, trailers show at least one short moment of a kidnapped character to remind viewers what is at stake. Here, Carter is almost completely missing. That decision immediately raises several possibilities. Has Mariano moved him somewhere no one expected? Has Carter become part of a larger negotiation? Or has someone inside Mariano's own organization started questioning his orders? The trailer refuses to answer any of those questions, and that silence makes every theory feel possible. Meanwhile, Rip appears very different compared to the man viewers met in Season 1. His anger is still there, but it feels more controlled. Instead of charging directly toward every problem, he looks like someone carefully choosing each step. That change could become one of Season 2's biggest strengths. Rip has always believed that strength solves almost everything, but against an enemy like Mariano, pure strength may not be enough. This time, patience could become the most dangerous weapon of all. Beth also appears to understand that reality. Several emotional moments suggest she knows every decision now affects far more than her own family. If she attacks too early, Carter could pay the price. If she waits too long, Mariano becomes even stronger. She is trapped between two impossible choices, and neither offers a guaranteed victory. That emotional pressure gives the trailer its strongest moments. Instead of relying only on explosions or gunfights, it builds tension through uncertainty. Every character seems to know something terrible is coming, but nobody knows exactly when it will happen. Then there is the growing question surrounding Case himself. If Beth finally reaches out, how quickly would he respond? Anyone familiar with Case knows the answer. Family has always come first. No matter how dangerous his current mission becomes, protecting the people he loves has always guided every major decision he makes. If Beth truly asks for help, there is little reason to believe he would ignore her. That single choice could instantly transform Season 2. Instead of watching two separate stories unfold, viewers may suddenly see both series moving toward the same destination. Beth brings knowledge of Texas. Rip understands the local ranching world better than anyone. Case brings years of tactical experience and an entirely different way of fighting organized crime. Together, they become far more dangerous than any of them could ever be alone. The trailer also hints that Mariano understands this possibility. Several moments make him appear surprisingly calm, almost as though he expects new enemies to arrive. That confidence could mean he already knows Beth's next move. Or even more frightening, he may already have a plan waiting for Case before the two siblings ever reunite. If that turns out to be true, then the crossover itself becomes part of Mariano's strategy. Imagine Beth finally making the call after resisting it for so long. Imagine Case traveling to Texas prepared to rescue Carter. And then imagine discovering Mariano planned for that exact moment from the very beginning. That kind of twist would completely change how viewers look at Season 1. Instead of reacting to the Duttons, Mariano would have been controlling the board all along, quietly guiding everyone exactly where he wanted them. The trailer never confirms that theory, but it certainly leaves enough clues for fans to consider it. And perhaps that is exactly what makes this trailer so effective. Every answer seems hidden just beyond reach. Every conversation feels unfinished. Every character appears to be carrying information they are not yet ready to reveal. By the end of the trailer, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. This no longer feels like the story of one ranch fighting one cartel. It feels like the beginning of a conflict that could pull together multiple families, multiple investigations, and perhaps the entire Yellowstone universe into one unforgettable battle. As the trailer reaches its final moments, one message becomes impossible to ignore. This season is not simply about bringing Carter home. It is about deciding how far the Dutton family is willing to go before there is nothing left to save. Every choice now carries consequences that could reshape the future of the Yellowstone universe. The biggest question still hanging over Season 2 is surprisingly simple. What happens after Beth finally makes the call? Many fans believe that moment will be the emotional turning point of the entire season. For Beth, asking Case for help is about much more than finding Carter. It means admitting that she cannot fight this war alone. That has always been one of Beth's greatest struggles. She would rather carry every burden herself than let anyone see her vulnerable. But Carter changes everything. Throughout Season 1, he stopped being someone Beth simply looked after. He became part of her family. That emotional connection raises the stakes higher than ever before. Every hour Carter remains missing becomes another reminder that pride may no longer be enough to protect the people she loves. The trailer also suggests that Rip reaches a similar conclusion. Instead of acting first and asking questions later, he appears more focused than ever. There is determination in his actions, but there is also patience. That combination could become Mariano's greatest problem. Throughout Season 1, Mariano expected emotional reactions. He counted on fear. He counted on anger. He counted on rushed decisions. But if Beth and Rip stop playing by his rules, the balance of power immediately begins to shift. Then comes perhaps the most fascinating mystery of all. What if Mariano already knows the crossover is coming? That idea sounds unbelievable at first. Yet the trailer keeps hinting that Mariano understands much more than anyone realizes. He rarely seems surprised. His confidence never disappears. Even while the Duttons prepare for war, he carries himself like someone who believes he still controls the outcome. If that confidence is real, it means Mariano has prepared for every possible move, including Case. That possibility immediately raises the danger level for everyone involved. Case is not the kind of man who walks into a fight without a plan. His experience, discipline, and instincts make him one of the most capable characters in the Yellowstone universe. But every great strategist knows one important rule. The most dangerous battlefield is the one your enemy already expects. If Mariano has spent months preparing for Case's arrival, then this rescue mission becomes far more complicated than anyone imagined. At the same time, another storyline continues to grow quietly in the background. Several characters appear trapped between loyalty and survival. Some are connected to Mariano by blood, Others are tied to the Duttons through trust. As the conflict grows larger, those relationships become increasingly fragile. Season 2 may ultimately prove that the greatest battles are not fought with weapons, but with impossible choices. Who stays loyal? Who changes sides? And who sacrifices everything so someone else can survive? The trailer offers no clear answers. Instead, it continues building suspense by letting viewers imagine every possible outcome. That uncertainty may become one of Season 2's greatest strengths. When audiences genuinely cannot predict what happens next, every episode becomes impossible to miss. The crossover itself could also bring something fans have wanted for years. Rather than treating the Yellowstone universe as separate stories, Season 2 may finally show that every series has been connected from the beginning. Different characters have been fighting different pieces of the same battle without realizing it. Once those stories finally collide, every previous event could suddenly carry new meaning. Imagine Beth, Rip, and Case standing together again, each bringing different skills to the same mission. Beth understands people better than almost anyone. Rip knows how to survive against impossible odds. Case brings experience, discipline, and tactical thinking. Individually, each of them is dangerous. Together, they become the kind of team Mariano may not be able to control. That possibility is exactly why the trailer has generated so much excitement among fans. It is not just teasing another season, it is teasing a completely different scale of storytelling. The rescue of Carter may only be the beginning. Behind that mission could be a much larger war involving powerful criminal networks, hidden alliances, and enemies operating across multiple states. Whether every fan theory proves true remains to be seen. Trailers are designed to raise questions, not answer them. Some clues may be genuine. Others may exist only to mislead viewers before the real twists arrive. That uncertainty is part of what makes breaking down every frame so exciting. Still, one conclusion feels difficult to ignore. Everything in this trailer points toward bigger stakes, deeper emotional conflicts, and a crossover that feels more possible now than ever before. If Beth truly reaches out to Case, it could become one of the defining moments in the history of the Yellowstone universe. From that point forward, the battle is no longer about one missing boy or one dangerous cartel. It becomes a fight for an entire family's future. And if the trailer is even half as accurate as it appears, Dutton Ranch Season 2 may deliver the biggest crossover event fans have been waiting to see for years. Until the official episodes finally arrive, all we can do is study every clue, question every hidden detail, and prepare for what could become the most unforgettable chapter this story has told so far. So, what do you think after watching the trailer? Do you believe Beth will finally make the call to Case? Do you think the Marshals crossover is actually happening? Or are the writers cleverly leading fans in the wrong direction? And what role do you think Mariano will play once both worlds finally collide? Share your theories in the comments, because the best predictions often come from fans who notice the smallest details before everyone else. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned, because as soon as new trailers, casting updates, or official news about Dutton Ranch Season 2 arrives, we'll break down every clue together.